Just when she had finally moved on, he returned. Mia stood near the window of her small bookshop. It was raining. The soft drops tapped gently on the glass, like a quiet song. The sky was gray. The streets were almost empty. She held a warm cup of tea in her hands. Her fingers were cold. Her heart felt calm, or so she believed. It had been 8 years, 8 long years since James left. He had walked out of her life without a goodbye. No letter, no message, no reason. She had waited for weeks, months, and then she stopped waiting. Slowly, she built a quiet life, a simple one. Every morning, she opened her bookshop at 8 a.m. sharp. She greeted her neighbors. She placed flowers in a glass jar by the window. She smiled, even when it hurt inside. But today, everything changed. The doorbell rang. A soft ding echoed through the shop. Mia turned and froze. Her eyes widened. Her breath caught in her throat. It was James. He stood there, soaking wet from the rain. His black coat dripped water on the floor. His eyes looked the same, deep, brown, and full of stories. "Mia," he said. Her lips parted, but no words came. She stared at him. Was it really him, or just a dream? James took a step forward. "I came to see you," he said, gently. Mia blinked. Her voice finally returned. "Why now?" she asked. "Why after all these years?" James looked down. His face showed pain. "Regret. I made a mistake," he said. "A big one. I left without a word. And I have no excuse, but I need to explain." Mia felt a rush of emotions. Anger, confusion, sadness, and something else she did not want to admit. "You cannot just walk back into my life like this," she said, trying to stay calm. "I moved on, James. I had to." "I know," he said softly, "and I do not expect you to forgive me. But I had to see you. I had to tell you everything." Mia looked away. The rain had stopped outside. A ray of sunlight touched the corner of the window. She turned back to him. "You disappeared," she said, "and now you are here, asking me to listen?" James nodded. "Please," he whispered, "let me explain. Not here. Somewhere quiet." Mia paused. Her hands trembled. Her heart beat fast. She wanted to say no, but something inside her, something deep, whispered, "Say yes." James took a step back. "I will be at the bench near the park," he said. "At sunset. If you come, I will tell you everything. If you do not, I will leave. Forever." He turned and walked out. The bell rang as the door closed. Mia stood there, still, silent. Her eyes moved to a photo on the shelf, an old picture of her and James. They were smiling, young, happy. She touched the frame. "Why now?" she whispered again. The sky outside was clearing. A golden light filled the street. Mia took a deep breath. Something had returned. Not just James. Something she had buried long ago. Hope. The sun was setting. The sky turned soft orange, with pink clouds floating like dreams. The trees stood still. A cool breeze moved gently through the park, brushing the grass and making the leaves dance. Mia walked slowly. Her heart was loud. It felt like a drum inside her chest. She held her coat close. She had thought 100 times about not coming, about staying home, about forgetting everything. But she was here. She saw the bench, and she saw James already waiting. He sat there, quiet, staring at the lake. Mia took a deep breath. Step by step, she moved closer. He looked up. His eyes met hers. "You came?" he said. "I am not sure why," she replied. James stood. He did not smile. His face looked serious, but also kind. "Please," he said, pointing to the bench. "Sit with me." They both sat. Silence filled the air. Only the sound of birds flying home and the soft wind could be heard. James looked at his hands. Then, slowly he spoke. "When I left 8 years ago," he began, "I was scared." "Scared of what?" Mia asked, her voice calm but cold. "Scared of love," he answered. "Scared of how much I needed you. I was not ready. I thought leaving was the right thing." Mia shook her head. "You could have said something. Anything." "I know," he said, "but I was young and foolish. I thought I was doing you a favor." "A favor?" she asked, her voice sharper now. "You broke me, James. I cried for months. I kept asking myself what I did wrong." James looked down. "I left without courage," he said, "and I lived with that guilt every single day." He paused, then looked at her again. "I did not come here to make excuses." He continued, "I came to tell you the truth. I joined the Navy. I traveled far. I saw the world, but I never stopped thinking about you." Mia looked away. The lake shimmered under the evening light. "I had dreams too," she said. "Dreams with you. A life, a home, maybe a family." James nodded. "I thought about that too. I wanted it, but I ran from it." "And now?" she asked. "Now I know what I lost," he said softly. "I came back, hoping I could fix something, even if just a little." Mia stayed quiet for a while. She looked at him, really looked. He was older now. His face showed more lines. His eyes had pain, but also honesty. "Do you think things can just go back to the way they were?" she asked. "No," he said. "I know they cannot, but maybe we can begin again." Mia stood up. She looked at the sky. "It is not that simple, James," she said. "You left me with a hole in my heart. I had to become strong on my own." James stood beside her. "I see that now," he said. "You became strong, and I admire that." Mia turned to him. "I do not know what this is," she said, "but I am willing to listen, not for the past, but maybe for the future." James smiled, just a little. "That is all I hoped for," he said. The wind blew again. This time, it felt warmer. 2 people, 1 bench, a second chance. Time would tell. It had started to rain, not heavy, just light drops falling from the sky, like tiny whispers from above. Mia and James stood under a tree. Neither of them moved. Neither of them spoke. The air between them felt heavy, not with anger, but with years of silence. James finally broke it. "Do you remember this park?" he asked, looking at the wet ground. Mia nodded slowly. Yes, she said, this is where you gave me that silly red balloon on my birthday. James chuckled. It was the only thing I could afford. But you smiled so much. I felt like I gave you diamonds. Mia smiled, just a little. I was 17, she said, and all I wanted was you. James looked at her with soft eyes. And you had me? He whispered. You always had me. I just did not know how to show it. There was a pause. Mia looked at the bench again. It was getting wet. She pulled her coat tighter. I used to come here after you left, she said. I sat on this bench and talked to the wind. I cried. I yelled. I hoped maybe one day you would return. James looked down. Guilt filled his eyes. I wrote letters, he said, so many letters, but I never sent them. Mia turned her face quickly. Why not? She asked, her voice shaking. One letter, James. Just one could have changed everything. I was ashamed, he replied. Ashamed of leaving. Ashamed of hurting you. I thought you deserved someone better. I did not want someone better, she said firmly. I wanted the boy who used to dance with me in the rain, the one who said he would never leave. James reached into his jacket. He pulled out a small notebook. I kept this, he said, handing it to her. Mia took it with shaking hands. She opened the pages. Her breath caught. It was full of poems, drawings, dates, memories. There was one sketch, the park bench, with two people holding hands. I made this in Japan, he said quietly, on a rainy night. I missed you so much, it hurt. Mia looked at the page. Her eyes filled with tears. You still draw like a dream, she whispered. The rain got stronger. Mia stepped out from under the tree. She lifted her face to the sky. James followed. The water soaked their clothes, but neither of them cared. Mia laughed suddenly. A soft, real laugh. You know what's crazy? She said. We're standing here like time stopped, like the years didn't pass. James smiled. It feels like yesterday, he said. Mia looked at him, really looked. So what now? She asked. You came back, told me the truth. What do you want from me, James? He stepped closer. I want to start again, he said. Not from where we left, but from who we are now. Mia's eyes searched his face. Could she trust him again? Could she let the past go? I am not the same girl, she said. I have scars now. I am not easy to love. And I am not the same boy, James replied. But I will try every day, if you let me. Silence again. Then Mia whispered, one step at a time? James nodded. One step, he said. They both smiled. As the rain poured down, two hearts began to beat together again. The days after the rain felt different, not just because it was still raining every now and then, but because Mia and James were trying. They were trying in a way they never had before. Each day felt like a step forward, but there were times when it also felt like 2 steps back. James started visiting Mia more often. They would go for long walks, talking about anything and everything. Do you remember that old pizza place we used to go to? James asked one afternoon, his hands stuffed in his pockets. Mia smiled at the memory. "How could I forget?" she replied. "We spent hours there, laughing at silly things. We always ordered the same pizza, extra cheese, extra olives, even if you hated olives." James chuckled, his eyes lighting up. "I think I hated them because you loved them so much," he said. "I just wanted to see you happy." Mia stopped walking and turned to face him. "And what about now?" she asked. "Do you still love me, James? After everything?" His face softened. "I never stopped loving you, Mia," he said quietly. "Not for 1 second. I made mistakes, but I never stopped loving you." Mia's heart skipped a beat, but there was still doubt. She couldn't erase the hurt from all those years. The silence, the unanswered questions. "I am scared," she admitted. "I'm scared that if I let you in, you'll leave again." James reached for her hand. "I won't leave," he promised, squeezing her hand gently. "Not now. Not ever again. I know I messed up, but I'll do everything I can to prove that I'm here to stay." Mia closed her eyes for a moment. She was trying to believe him, trying so hard. "But what if I am not enough?" she whispered. James pulled her closer. "You are more than enough," he said firmly. "You are everything, and I will never make the mistake of letting you think otherwise again." Mia felt his sincerity. His words felt like a promise she wanted to believe more than anything. "I want to believe you," she said softly. "I really do." "Then let's take it slow," James suggested. "Let's start with today. No pressure, just us in the moment. No past, no future, just now." Mia looked at him, the man who had once been her everything. Could he be that again? "I like that idea," she said with a small smile. The next few days were filled with simple moments. They cooked dinner together, laughing when they burned the garlic bread. They spent hours at the park, reminiscing about their old memories. But this time, there was something new, something that had been missing before. It was trust. It was hope. But Mia still had walls around her heart, and James knew that. One evening, as they sat together on the porch, watching the sunset, Mia spoke up again. "I still have a lot of questions," she said, her voice uncertain. James looked at her, his face full of understanding. "Ask me anything," he said softly. "Why did you leave?" Mia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. James took a deep breath. "I was scared," he said, "scared of being the man you needed, scared of failing you. So I left. But leaving was the biggest mistake of my life, and I will spend the rest of my days trying to make it right." Mia's eyes welled up with tears. She didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to hold on to the anger, the hurt, but another part of her just wanted to forgive, to move forward. "I don't know if I can forgive you," she said, her voice breaking. "I know," James replied, "and I will wait, however long it takes. I'll prove myself to you. I'll prove that I'm here to stay." For the first time in a long while, Mia believed him. Mia and James had been on a journey of rediscovery. With each passing day, they built a bridge, one brick at a time, over the river of hurt and time. But it wasn't easy. Sometimes it felt like they were standing at the edge of a cliff, looking into the unknown. And at other times, it felt like they had come so far that there was no turning back. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon when Mia decided to confront the truth. They were sitting in the living room, just the two of them. The house was peaceful, almost too peaceful. The walls that once echoed with silence now held memories of their shared moments. Mia looked at James, her hands shaking slightly. "James," she said softly, "I've been thinking about everything." He looked at her, his eyes full of expectation. "You've been patient with me," Mia continued. "You've waited, and I know you've tried your best to make things right." James didn't say anything at first. He simply waited, giving her the space she needed. "I still don't know if I'm ready," Mia admitted. "I don't know if I can completely trust you again. I don't know if I can forget everything that happened." James' heart sank, but he didn't let the hurt show on his face. He knew this moment would come. He had prepared himself for it. "I understand," he said softly, "and I'm not asking you to forget. I'm asking you to forgive. And I know that forgiveness is not easy. It's something I have to earn every single day." Mia paused, looking down at her hands. She had so many mixed emotions. Her heart wanted to forgive him, but her mind kept bringing up all the reasons why she had every right to be angry. And yet, there was something different in the way James was looking at her now. The sincerity in his eyes, the quiet hope, the vulnerability. For the first time, she saw him not as the man who had hurt her, but as the man who was trying, really trying, to make up for his mistakes. "I don't want to live in the past anymore," Mia whispered, her voice barely above a breath. "I want to move forward. With you." James' heart skipped a beat. "You mean that?" he asked, almost in disbelief. Mia nodded slowly. Her eyes were filled with tears, but they were different this time. They were tears of hope, not of sorrow. "I mean it," she said firmly. "I want to try. I'm scared, but I want to try." James couldn't hold back his emotions any longer. He reached out for her hand, pulling her close. "I promise," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "I will never hurt you again. I will be the man you deserve." And in that moment, Mia felt something shift inside her. The weight she had been carrying for so long seemed to lighten. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was love. Or maybe, just maybe, it was a fresh start. As they stood there, holding each other, the world seemed to fade away. The past, with all its pain and mistakes, no longer felt like an obstacle. Together, they had found the strength to rebuild. Together, they had found the courage to love again. Mia smiled through her tears. "We'll take it one day at a time, right?" she asked. James smiled back. "One day at a time," he agreed. And in that moment, Mia knew, for the first time in years, that everything would be okay.